It is time
It is.
for part 4 of Josh and Brett's top 50 games of all time. Today, we will be going through numbers 20 to what?
11.
20 to 11?
Yeah.
Ooh.
20
Oh, we're going to have
to
some
11.
good ones.
So today is going to be juicy.
This is going to be really juicy.
Before we pop into the list for today, we did want to give a quick update about where the standings are, right? For those of you that have been following this series and this segment, you know that we are going to ultimately lead this up to like Haptic Intel's top 10 games of all time, okay? So the way that we're doing this, and I don't spend too much time on it right now because I know we'll talk about it more when that video comes out, but basically each game is getting assigned a point value based off of its rank, right, in our lists, right? So Brett's 50 gets 1 point, right? Whereas Brett's number 1 will get 50 points because of, right, it's averaged out basically against all the other numbers of the games that are in that list. And then what we're going to do is add those up, right? Add our numbers. So if a game makes both my list and Brett's list, we add that up, all right? And that's its total score, which then it gets ranked against all the other scores. Okay.
That's right.
Again, we'll go more into it when we get there.
And these standings today are arbitrary because it's going to change literally as soon as we're done talking about numbers 20 through 11.
Yeah.
So
as it stands, Brett, the number 1, well, actually, I guess I'll start from 10 down. At 10, we got Sonic Mania right now. At 9, we have Tony Hawk's Underground. At 8, we have Control. At 7, we have Guitar Hero 3. At 6, we have The Last of Us, the original one. At 5, we have Shovel Knight. At 4, we have Apex Legends. At 3, we have Overwatch. And at 2, we have Doom 2016. Or at 1, we have 2000. Wait, what? Oh. I'm sorry. I did that wrong. What's that thing? Doom is number 1. Sonic Mania is number 9. Call of Duty World at War is number 10. Yeah.
That's right.
But anyway, that's the top right now as it stands.
That's right. All right. Well, listen, I think it's your turn to go first.
Okay.
So go ahead.
All right. So let's get started. Numbers 20 to 11 of our top 50 favorite games of all time. My number 20, Brett. Assassin's Creed 2.
Wow.
Assassin's Creed 2. Fun fact, first Assassin's Creed game I ever played. Did I play Assassin's Creed 1 before playing Assassin's Creed 2? You bet your ass I did not do that. Did I play Assassin's Creed 1 after playing Assassin's Creed 2? You bet your ass I did. Did I like Assassin's Creed 1 more than Assassin's Creed 2? I don't want to spoil anything, but the answer to that question is no. Assassin's Creed 2 is fucking slick. It is the best Assassin's Creed game, in my opinion, still to this date. It has the best story with Ezio. It has the best overarching hub world story, if you will, with the organization that's going on outside of the Animus. It's fucking slick. It's over the top, and the era, right, and that they capture, and the voice actor of Ezio, and what's going on with the fucking oh my god, the organization outside. I forget it now. Anyway, what's going on in the real world versus the Animus is slick. How they intertwine are slick. And the end of this game is one of the most fucking biggest mind fucks you will ever see in your entire life. Okay, inside of the Animus. It's slick. I 100%ed this game. Okay, 100% of this game. The only thing that I didn't do in this game as far as achievements go, Brett, because I played this on 360, do you know what it was? Was collecting all the fucking feathers. I didn't collect all the fucking feathers because you know why?
I've heard about that.
It's fucking ridiculous. There's too many. Fuck the feathers, dude. That's the only thing I never did in this game. But everything else, I played the shit out of it. I got it on Christmas one year from my mother, and I played the fuck out of it. And I love it. And it's slick. And there still has not been an Assassin's Creed game that's as good as it to this date. I think the most recent entry is probably the closest it gets. But you know what? It gets nowhere close. Okay? Assassin's Creed 2, slick. My number 20.
Wow. Assassin's Creed fanboys are going to come at you for not saying Black Flag was good, buddy.
I never played Black Flag.
Oh. So you're just lying to the people when you say there hasn't been...
After Assassin's Creed 3, there hasn't been anything good. That's when they really cashed in on the franchise, and that's when I got out. So.
Okay. Number 20, for me, keep it real short and sweet. It was your number 21, and it's The Last of Us, specifically The Last of Us Remastered.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that matters, but...
we'll call it The Last of Us. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I don't want to dwell too long. I just want to say again, the beginning of this game immediately gets you, hooks you right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Cried like a baby, and like I said before, if a game makes me cry, it's good.
Yeah.
So Last of Us Remastered, Last of Us 1 is my number 20.
Very good. My number 19, Brett. I think you knew it was coming. I think you knew it was coming. We haven't had a lot of Nintendo games on our list thus far. But that's because, well, we're getting there now, folks, because Nintendo makes good games. My number 19 is Super Mario Odyssey.
Josh, before you continue, my number 19 is Super Mario Odyssey.
Well, folks, there you have it.
So I think we could just talk together
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, we'll talk together.
Go ahead.
And then we'll loop back. I mean,
ahead.
what is there to say about Super Mario Odyssey? I'm not a fan of platformers. I'm really bad at it. Like I think there's like a serious dysfunction with my brain as far as spatial awareness inside of a virtual space goes, because I'm really bad at platformers. I'm not precise with them. This is the first platformer, like strictly platforming, whatever, adventure, puzzle game, however you want to classify Mario. It's the first one I ever beat, right? It's the first Mario game I've really, truly ever like played for more than a few minutes. It is so fucking slick. And let me just, besides the movement, right? How you get around the world, besides the colors, besides the fucking, like, just how well each area in it is designed, this level of exploration, the sense of discovery and fun. The fucking music, not only is the music slap in this game, it has one of literally the coolest fucking gaming moments you will ever experience. When that song plays, you know what I'm talking about. When it plays, where it does in the game, and how it's presented to you. My fucking cock, rock solid. It's on the moon right now when that happened in the game. That game, slick.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. This is, it's your typical 3D Mario collectathon game. You're trying to collect all the, coins, all the moons, everything. This game is just, it's flawless. It's probably one of the only games on my list that I would say is like a perfect game. It's just so much fun. Like you said, the movement, holy shit, playing as Mario in this game feels so fun. And the inclusion of Cappy, like
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell this game would have been without Cappy, because not only like using him to traverse, but also like taking over the enemies and becoming them.
Yeah.
Such a cool mechanic, and like the way you use that to solve certain little puzzles to get, further in the game is just awesome. It's just so good. It's so fun. Everything about it. And like you said, the worlds are so well designed. The outfits that you get like with the coins are so cool and so fun. I found myself wanting to grind and get the coins in every single kingdom so that I could buy the outfit for that kingdom while I played it. Try to look fresh as fuck. And I wish this game got DLC. It never did, and it's a fucking shame because it's so good.
Yeah.
And when you beat the game and you unlock the post game and you in that kingdom that everyone knows, oh my god, it was slick.
Yeah.
And then the skin or the costume in that area is slick as fuck. So, yes.
Listen, Super Mario Odyssey, forget about it. Okay.
Great game.
Yeah. All right, Brett, I guess we'll loop back around since that was both of our 19s. My number 18.
Yeah, go ahead.
My number 18, Brett. A game I know you're fond of. A game I know you love, that I love, that we've talked about, that we've spent a lot of time in. And that is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the original.
Yep.
Wow. First of all, it is the game that is essentially the start of what modern shooter multiplayer is still to this day. This was really what kicked it off and mainstreamed it. Okay. It took the already awesome kind of formula that was there for Call of Duty for multiplayer and just kicked it up to 1,000. And then there's the campaign, folks. I mean, the characters, the settings, the level design, the slick fucking moments. This is a slick fucking Call of Duty campaign. It is like the pinnacle of blockbuster, like a popcorn movie in a video game, but fucking slick. Okay, and turned up to 1,000. I remember each story beat in this game perfectly, and then it's just, I don't even know what else there's to say about it. It's just slick. It is still to this date, in my opinion, the best Call of Duty game, the best Call of Duty campaign. That's it.
Yeah, this game rocks. and it's not the last time we're going to talk about it. It's going to be on my top 10. So we'll see you there, folks.
Oh my God. Damn. This is becoming insane, folks.
That game means a lot to me, so it's very high on my list.
Yeah.
All right, number 18, correct?
Yep.
Josh, my number 18 is a small indie game known as Hotline Miami.
Wow.
If you were saying that Super Mario Odyssey had good music, Hotline Miami also has fucking slick ass music. The vibe of this game is so cool. It's so fresh. It's so different. It's literally the movie Drive, but in a video game, in like an 8-bit video game. Everything about it is just fun. It's flashy. It's quick. It's fast paced. It's just a badass, violent John Wick game. You literally feel like you're John Wick when you're playing this game. All the different masks that you can wear give you different abilities when you're playing. This game rules. It's great. And the one thing I will say, and it doesn't knock this game at all, is that the sequel to this game is not anywhere near as good. And I wish that it was, because a true sequel to Hotline Miami 1 could, if they like improved on everything, this could be in my top 10, in my opinion. If they made a Hotline Miami 2 that was just the same thing as 1, but even better, no brainer. But this game is great, and it's well deserved on my top 20 list. If you haven't played it, pick it up. It's really cheap. You could probably get both games in a bundle for really cheap.
Yeah.
So go check it out.
Very cool. All right, Brett, my number 17. A game that's already been discussed, I believe. Yeah, I think it was already on your list. That is Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. I don't have much else to say from what Brett said, except that this game is pretty much the pinnacle of survival horror experiences in video games. The story, first of all, is awesome, and how each playthrough intertwines with the previous one. I've played through this game 3 times fully, and like Brett, once I finished one playthrough, I was ready to start the next one, which doesn't usually happen for me because, again, my attention span is about the size of a peanut. So if you don't grab my attention, I'm going to get out of it pretty quickly. The design of the police station specifically, and how it connects, and how you go about solving the puzzles, and going back and forth. I know maybe at the time Resident Evil 2 that was groundbreaking. Today, it's not as much, but it's done so well. And I love a game with good puzzle solving. I crave it. I enjoy it. Figuring it out. And the way that this game handles it is slick. And then you add fucking X gonna give it to you, dude. I mean, and it adds this whole other level to like thinking on the fly and thinking on the feet and oh shit, what the fuck is going on and where do I need to go? And it's voice acted so well. It looks so good. I love this game. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great addition. I put mine a little lower on my list. It was number 26 for me, so not too far off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a good game. I love it. And you know what, Josh? Interestingly enough, my number 17 is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which is a very different Resident Evil game. It's in first person, and it's kind of like the new direction for the Resident Evil franchise moving forward, with Resident Evil Village coming out. It's a continuation of 7, and it's the same kind of first person gameplay. There's something about Resident Evil 7 that really resonated with me. I think that the fact that it was different, it wasn't like 4, 5, 6 in the third person action style. It was like full on horror game again for the first time in a while, right? Mm-hmm. And also they released this demo, 2 demos. One was called The Kitchen, Josh. Mm-hmm. And if you remember, this was kind of even before Resident Evil 7 was like announced, that people were talking about this VR demo called The Kitchen. Mm-hmm. And it scared the shit out of people.
Yeah, including us.
Including us. And then they put out a demo on the PlayStation Store for Resident Evil 7. And it was like a little mini experience, maybe akin to the maiden demo for Resident Evil 8, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it scared the fuck out of me. Mm-hmm. And it was like so creepy. We didn't know what the plot was going to be. We didn't know if it was paranormal, because there was rumors that it was like about ghosts and not zombies anymore. But the game was just fucking scary, dude. And it's in VR.
Mm-hmm.
There's a VR mode. It's just, it's so good. And the story was actually really well done.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about some like memorable ass moments in horror games when Jack busts through that wall.
Forget it.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Forget it.
There's the boss fight in the garage with the car. What the fuck was that?
Yes.
What the fuck was that, dude?
Yeah.
And just when you think the game's over, you're on a giant boat. What the hell was that? It's just, it's so wacky. It's so good. I'm really excited for Resident Evil Village. I want to know more about, Ethan, what's happening with him. And yeah, I think that this game kind of revolutionized the franchise, and it's obvious that it sold well, because guess what? They're making a sequel to it, and it's the new franchise norm, this first person thing. So yeah, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is my number 17.
Well, Brett, it's funny that it's your number 17 because my number 16 is Resident Evil Biohazard.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add, really. And I thought about cutting you off at the beginning and be like, oh, my number 16 is this, but I just want to add one more thing that you didn't. I echo everything you said. And that is, I think this game also has a level of replayability to it with the different endings with Mia.
That's true.
And how that changes what happens. And I'm interested to see how Resident Evil 8 handles that. And if they pick like a definitive one, which I think is there's like a, yeah. But the end of this game, depending on what happens, and I know we've both seen all of the different endings. It is just done so well. And is another example of like, I'm a really big sucker for having witnessed a fail state in a game without knowing that you have already failed.
Yeah.
And it's like a kind of like a gotcha type thing, I guess, but I don't know. I'm just a sucker for it. I think this game handles that well. I echo everything that you said. It's fucking slick. It's scary, and the VR mode makes me poop my pants. Okay.
Exactly. All right. Number 16 then is another horror game, pseudo horror. No, it's horror. Left 4 Dead 2. This isn't your number 16,
No.
is it? Or your 15?
No.
Okay.
No, but it will not be the last time you hear that game, just saying.
Okay, good. So Left 4 Dead 2 is a 4-player co-op survival horror experience in which you are killing zombies. Left 4 Dead 1 came out and it kind of took the world by surprise. And very shortly after, Left 4 Dead 2 came out. And people actually knocked it when it came out. They said it's not different enough. It's too much of the same. It came out too quick. They should have spent more time on it. And while all those things are true, it was simply just a better version of Left 4 Dead 1. And then they even packed in the levels from Left 4 Dead 1 as DLC. So it was like the definitive way to play Left 4 Dead, right? It's just so fun. We've so many countless hours in this game with you and our friends, and like playing it on Xbox 360, and then I remember at one point we had mods, and it made the whole experience so different. And on PC, it's got this huge modding community. I know it's huge on PC. We even played it recently because they put out the first official level in like
which
years.
was slick.
And it was really cool. And it was a really cool experience. I don't know what to say. I think that it's just a really memorable game. I wish that Valve made games, because when they make them well. And I think that this is a great example of that. Thankfully, the team that did this game is making Back 4 Blood, which looks just like Left 4 Dead. So we'll see what happens. But it's just so fun. This game is great. And it kind of like invented not a genre, but it like pioneered this genre. It kind of took like what Call of Duty Zombies was doing, did its own version of it with this like horde mode thing, but added like a campaign element to it. It's great. And the multiplayer where you can play as the zombies, like the special infected versus the humans, is also really, really good. Usually if it was bad, I would have knocked it. But it's done well.
Yes.
So.
All right. Talk about that again later.
All right.
My number 15, Brett. This might be the last surprising thing I have on my list that I don't know if you would expect me to list on here.
Okay.
And that is Death Stranding.
Mm.
Yeah. This is one of the most unique experiences I've ever had playing a video game. Um, and I'm going to take you through all the reasons why I think there's merit to it, and then I'm going to take you through one of the deciding factors of why I put it so high on my list. Okay. First of
Do it.
all, it's if you want to boil it down, sure, you can call it a walking sim with resource management. You could, but it's so much more than that, right? The way, first of all, the design, from a design perspective, the art, the world, the characters, the enemies, the tech, like it's just such outside of the box, next level thinking that we've really never seen before in media in general. The game also invented its own genre, right? What Kojima calls a strand game now. But I also had so much fun and it was so relaxed playing this game that it almost gave me like, I don't know even know what the correct word for it is, but you know when you have like ASMR, right? That effect, and you're just like, you know what I mean? This game did,
Like Bliss.
yeah, exactly. This game did that for me. I loved playing it. I really should go back and platinum it because I'm not that far away and I can do it pretty easily. It's brutal. It's weird. It's over the top. It's Kojima in his like most
Weirdest.
unrelenting form. And I love it. But the real deciding factor for why I put it on my list, Brett, you know the famous saying that life imitates art? This game was prophetic. This game was prophetic right before the coronavirus pandemic.
You're right.
And thinking about that, I was like, Kojima is such a genius. Like thinking about this or taking elements of our society that have been kind of exacerbated due to the coronavirus pandemic, and he contextualized it and put it in a game that then, in one form or another, kind of became a reality. So that's why it's on my list, and it's my number 15, and it's so high on my list.
Yeah, that's very true. I actually didn't think about it like that. Very prophetic. I love this game too. I had a great time with it. It didn't make my list at all, actually. But listen, we stand Kojima on this podcast for sure. He's a genius, and everything he makes is art. And there's no doubt that Death Stranding is art, and it made me cry as well, just like a lot of other games on this list did. You probably know the moment that I cried. There's some big reveals in this game, some big twists, and I had a lot of fun with it. It wasn't my favorite. It was like when you watch a really good, like highly regarded film, and you're like, that was really good, but it just wasn't for me. Like it didn't check all the boxes of like a movie I would typically like.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what Death Stranding was, where like I didn't necessarily love it in terms of like story and genre because it wasn't my typical thing,
Right.
but I still respect it and I still like it because it was genius and it was creative and it was Kojima just going, hey, what if there's fucking babies inside of tube things in your chest that can detect ghosts that are halfway in the living world and halfway, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? So, didn't make my list, but honestly, great choice.
Yeah.
Very good choice. All right, number 15. My number 15. I'm going to get a lot of shit for this.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to get a lot of shit
From
for
me?
this because from you, from everybody. I feel like this is a game that a lot of people are going to say should be higher, but just where the cards, when I lay them all out, it's where it landed, okay? So I don't want any hate. This is a lot of people's number 1. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh.
Is my number
I'm
15.
not going to hate you for that.
I know you... Yeah, you're fine, I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it didn't make my top 10. And you haven't mentioned this game yet, right?
Not yet.
Okay. See, that's what I thought. I thought it was going to be higher on your list. That's why I said that. So, listen, I'll let you, since it's going to be higher on your list, I'll let you really, like, get into this game.
Okay.
But I just want to say, it's beautiful. It's fun. It is... From the moment the game starts and you play as Link and you walk to that cliff and you get that opening cinematic thing, it's just like, wow, this is beautiful. I can't wait for the sequel. I can't wait to see what they do in terms of the puzzle solving and all of those things. I think that the gameplay mechanics in this game are basic, but can be used and abused
Mm-hmm.
to have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun. Um, they give you ultimate freedom. They say, here is this world, okay? Like, here's this puzzle, here is this thing. Do whatever you want, achieve it however you want to. We're gonna give you like these basic tools. You could do whatever you want, and that is just so much fun to me. They just let you do whatever the fuck you want. You can approach a puzzle in so many different ways, whether it's legit or glitching, even because there's ways you can make your fucking character ragdoll and fly all around the map. Um, but just the freedom that you get in this game, almost to a fault, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
They almost give you too much freedom.
Mm-hmm.
My only knock against this game is that the world feels a little empty at times. Uh, but it's such a huge open world game. It's running on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, listen, for everything it does bad, it does good times 100.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the music is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The graphics are beautiful. And the what are they called? The Divine Beasts.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what they were called? Those puzzle those fucking things were crazy, and like getting through them and like managing the puzzles inside are just insane. So this could be higher on my list probably, but it's where it landed. So Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, number 15, and I'll let you talk about it a little bit more when it's your turn.
Okay. My number 14, Brett. A game I know is on your list somewhere, but it hasn't come up yet. That is Bloodborne.
Oh.
I'm assuming it's quite a bit higher on your list.
Top 10.
Yeah. Yeah, my number 14 is Bloodborne. What is there to say about this game? There's a lot that can be said.
There's a lot.
It is the first Soulsborne game, whatever, that I played.
Yep.
Boy, did I not know what the fuck I was getting into. Like, I feel like I was not really a casual gamer before this, but I feel like I was a casual gamer before I played Bloodborne.
Well, yeah, because it was a PlayStation exclusive, and we all figured it was just going to be like a PlayStation exclusive game, like, like their usual game.
I didn't know what the fuck I was getting into. So let me tell you a little story, right?
Okay.
So I go to the midnight launch of this game. Were you there with us?
I wasn't.
No.
I was not.
So I go to the midnight launch of this game with somebody who we used to be friends with. We have a good time at the launch. We get goodies. I'm watching the gameplay. I'm like, damn, these fucking textures look slick. This game looks like a lot of fun. And it was clearly being played by somebody who was very knowledgeable already of the franchise or the series from software specifically. I get the game. I go home, pop it in. I start playing it. Get into Yarnum. Go through that first little area. I did not know what the fuck was going on, folks. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. I bet you had a very similar experience to me, which I think I can confirm you had a very similar experience to me, where you probably made it to the pack of Yarnum villagers with the bonfire several times and would die and start over.
Several times is an understatement. Hundreds of times. And this first night, I can't believe the headset and the multiple controllers that I was using did not break. Because, dude, after a few hours and keep dying over and over again, I didn't look up a guide. I didn't know what the fuck was happening. I was like, why is this game so hard? What the fuck is going on? Throwing my controller, throwing my headset, getting pissed off, shutting the game off, going back to it. But it really was the perfect introduction to the franchise. Or that type of game, right? And from software games and Soulsborne games. Because it's like, yeah, that's what the game is. You're going to fail a million fucking times until you figure out what works, right? And how to learn all the enemy movements and how to persevere. And now today, looking back, I've beaten this game several times. I've played it with you several times. We've played it through multiple, with other friends. I am really ashamed that I still don't have the Platinum Trophy in this game because I should. And now I could definitely go back and do it very easily. I know the layout of this game like the back of my fucking cock. Okay, because of how long and how meticulous I had to be playing this game, I know it from top to bottom extremely well. And then there's the DLCs, which are slick. It is a masterclass in design. It is a masterclass of what I think games like this should be. And yes, it's hard, but you can overcome it if you persevere through it and you learn, right? And you learn from your mistakes and you don't do the same thing over and over and over again. And then not to mention the art and the world building and the atmosphere and I mean the fucking design of the enemies and the bosses, and it's just so fucked up and slick. And then you beat your first boss, and I think when that happened, the first one is Father Gascoigne. That you
There's two. The first one that's mandatory is Father Gascoigne.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. But that's the first one I did, dude. When I beat Father Gascoigne for the first time, I mean, my cock was fucking rock solid, dude. And that's when I was hooked. And that might have honestly been like 20 hours into me playing the game, because of how bad I was. So
That's a good point. I was gonna say, actually, I was waiting for you to finish. I wanted to mention, like, I think when I beat the game, I realized that I spent more time in Yarnum in that first area just trying to figure out how to play the game than I did actually beating the rest of the game.
I would concur
Like,
with that.
like once it clicked, I got through the rest of the game faster than it took me for it to click. And that might be a turnoff for some people. Like, it took you 20 hours to like get the game to click for you. It's like, yeah, but I don't think the game is hard. I think the game is different and you just have to learn how to play it. It's like learning how to ride a bike
Right.
without training wheels, right?
Right.
I agree with everything you said. There's one specific moment in the game, one specific area that, like, to me is very special and like makes Bloodborne different than the rest. And there's also moments in Bloodborne that make it different and stand out. I have several. I'll give you one right now. There is a part in Bloodborne where there's a guy you're talking to on the other side of the door, and the door's locked. And you're like, "Hey man, let me in." And he's like, "Nah, you can't come in here. You're abysmal." You finally get the key, and you go, and you find out that the guy you've been talking to this whole time is dead already. And he's just a skeleton sitting in a chair. And when you talk to him, it says "already dead"
Yeah.
or something like that. And like that was a moment for me where I was just like, "Wow, what is this game? Like, this is just insane."
Yeah.
That's like a moment that sticks out to me.
Yeah, but it has a lot like that where it's just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like the world is not good.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil everything I'm going to say, but another one is like when you consume the what is it called? Insight, and you get more insight, the world literally changes. Once you kill a certain boss, the world literally changes.
Big mistake.
You start to see things that weren't there before. And it's just such a cool thing.
Yeah.
To have an
It has the most satiant themes of any of the Souls games. I think even more so than honestly
By
Dark
far.
Souls 3 too. It is very like, I think there's a lot of commentary on like honestly like class structure, and like having like a political message honestly of like, you know, wealthy versus poor, and how plagues and things like that impact the poor versus the wealthy. But I also think it's one of the more spiritually like just transcendent types of stories in all of the games, where it's like you keep fighting these things that you don't know about, and you yourself are becoming insane because of the impact from the world and how you are interacting with it. And it physically changes essentially the more violent you become. And then the multiple endings are just each within their own right, like a perfect summation of the game.
Yeah. There's two things I want to point out here. So number one is it's very much inspired by Lovecraft,
Right.
but more so than you can even imagine, because the whole point of Lovecraft stories is like there's creatures that are so crazy looking that you can't even imagine.
Right.
And once you see them, you go mad. That quite literally happens in Bloodborne, where you see creatures that are so you as you play the game, the bosses get increasingly disturbing, and your insight goes up and up. It's almost like it's your madness, and the world just starts to shift, and you start to see things that weren't there before. I love your point about the class warfare and the plague and stuff like that, because that's another thing that Bloodborne does so well, is that it has all of this narrative that you don't have to even like pay attention to if you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to. But the class warfare thing is there, and there's also like this spiritual storyline where it's like science versus
Yep.
religion, um, because you have what's his I don't even remember their names. The dude with the holy blade, Ludwig or
Yeah.
whatever.
Ludwig, yeah.
Like he's like the religious thing, and then there's like the science where it's like you have to open your eyes and like you have to look within and all
Mm-hmm.
that. And like humans are going to stay the same unless we
Mm-hmm.
evolve even further. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So there's so many things about this game that are just like rock solid Pinor.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk more about that when it pops up on my list in the top 10.
All right.
All right, number 14, franchise that's been on my list already, but this is, Josh, what I would call the ultimate installment in this franchise, and that is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Wow.
This game takes everything about the Smash franchise and just, quite literally takes everything from the Smash franchise and puts it together. Literally every character from a Smash game returns
Mm-hmm.
in Smash Ultimate. It is the ultimate love letter to video games. It has characters from, as far back as Pac-Man and Duck Hunt, Mario, like Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is just, it's just great, man. There's such a community behind Smash now, and I'm so happy. As a kid, I grew up playing Melee,
Mm-hmm.
and Melee was on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up playing Melee with my friend, a former friend of both of ours,
Mm-hmm.
actually, and it took up so much of my life. When I got my GameCube, Melee was the first game I got, and I don't want to spend too much time sucking off Melee, but Smash has been like a huge part of my life ever since then. And I think just Ultimate is the ultimate love letter to Smash fans and gaming fans alike. They're still putting out characters, they're still putting out content. Sakurai, literally had health issues while making the Smash franchise because it's so demanding and he pumps them out and he's just so hardworking. And like his wife does the menu design for like the UI
Mm-hmm.
design for Smash. It's just like such a love letter. He's literally like writing us a love letter when he's designing this game. Uh, the music, the remixes, the stages, the inclusion of like the Omega stages and the Final Destination stages is like something that was like a huge, game breaker for everybody. Like it just changed everything. I don't know what else to say. It's truly the ultimate version of Smash, and it's one of the best games of all time.
Yeah.
Even if you still prefer Melee, you have to understand that like Ultimate is just like it is Smash.
Yeah.
You know.
All right.
So
Very cool. My number 13, Brett. Maybe this one will actually surprise you too. That is Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
yeah, that does surprise me.
How far we have come, folks. Story time again. I hated Uncharted. I was not a fan of the Uncharted franchise. I was in a stage in my life where I was like, everything needs to be like super deep and like unlike anything I've seen before. And I stubbed my nose at it for a while because I didn't love the storytelling. I thought the gameplay was like too similar to so many things I've seen. And I played them a little bit, but I was just, I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. And then Uncharted 4 was announced. And I was like, at a time in my life where I was like, all right, they're coming out with like the remastered collection or whatever it was. I was like, let me go back and see what's going on. I played Uncharted 1 and it was fine. And I played Uncharted 2 and it was pretty good. And then played Uncharted 3 and I was like, this is fine. But I found myself like falling in love with all of the characters. And like Sully and, Nathan himself and his wife and all these other side characters and like the relationships that he was having and the places they were going. And I was like, oh shit, dude. Like, I like what's going on here. But I still wouldn't call myself an Uncharted fan. And then I played Uncharted 4, dude. Holy shit, this game made me fucking sob like a little baby. The story is so good, and it does something similar to what The Last of Us, well, not to the same extent, but what The Last of Us 2 does, where it challenges you with the characters in it. They do things that are different than what they would have done before because they are fundamentally different people where they are. They do things that you do not agree with, and you're like, stop, relax, like enough, forget it. And that specifically with Nate and like his adventure and his like, I need to go do this type mentality. And all of the relationships that he has come back to either help him or bite him. And then there's the end of the game. And I don't want to spoil it, but you get two things. One, something you've always wanted from the franchise and the characters, right? And then two, something you don't want. And it's like a, oh shit, but also you feel so full. And it's so happy and so hopeful. And it made me just fucking sob. And I was like, this is perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. Please never make another one ever again. It is like the ultimate finale, love letter to the franchise, open-ended ending so they could come back to the one, but also perfect ending so they never need to. And once again, Neil Druckmann, my man, just fucking knocks it out of the park.
So, Josh, that's fine and well, but we have a video on our channel privated right now called Why Josh Hates Uncharted discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's from the former Hapticast episode 7.
Yeah.
It's literally from March 21st of 2015.
Yeah.
So would you say that you no longer hate Uncharted?
No, I don't.
Good.
I don't. That's why I said we've come a long way.
We've come a very long way.
And this game is really good. And the narrative is what I will remember. There's criticisms you can make, absolutely, for sure, with the gameplay. But the set pieces, the characters and the storytelling, and it is the perfect example of giving you just enough to make you happy while also challenging you and growing with the characters.
Yeah, and I want to defend you real quick too, because that video was from right before, well, maybe not right before, but Uncharted 4 still hadn't come out at this point, and it was delayed.
Yeah.
So you didn't actually play the game that you are now ranking so high on your list yet. So
that's true.
I'm defending you there.
That's true.
I'm defending you.
But yeah, so number 13, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End.
All right, well, listen, I got bad news for you.
Uh-oh.
There's a game on this, my next game on this list, number 13. You're going to be very upset with me for where it's at.
Oh, no. I thought you said that about Zelda, though.
Yeah, but this one more so. I feel like this is going to be your number 2 or 1 or 3. So I apologize. My number 13 is The Last of Us Part 2. I knew it. I knew he was going to get upset. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm actually not that upset.
Okay, good. Listen, Last of Us Part 2, this is the first time it's come up, right? Because it is higher on your list, I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah. The Last of Us Part 2 is a very different game than The Last of Us Part 1 in many ways. By this point, the characters are so different. Ellie's grown up. She's going through life. Things are changing for her. She's finding herself. She's finding out who she is, what she likes. And Joel is just trying to be a father figure for her. You know, he lost his daughter. He grew up with her. He saved Ellie, you know. But there's a dark secret that he's hiding. And it creates a strain between the two. And just as fast as they get into this fight and they're not really talking, you know, something gets taken away from one of them. And I don't want to spoil anything. Hopefully you know what I mean by that. And this game makes you fucking despise a new character for her actions. And by the end of it, maybe a little too much on the nose, but they make you care about this character that you just hated. And not only do you care about her, but you understand her point of view and her side of the story. There's so many beautiful moments in this game. Take on Me. The Pearl Jam song, the several instances of the Pearl Jam song, especially the last one. I saw it coming, and when it happened, it was like the ultimate sense of dread.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt awful. I felt so bad. I think you know what I'm talking about with this one as well. We've kind of talked about it a little bit. It's a story of someone that loses it all in the end, and I'm excited to see where the story goes if they decide to make a part 3. And I'm really excited to see how they tackle this if we ever get to this point in the HBO TV show. I feel like the second season, I feel like part 2 would make a better show than part 1, almost, because of how fucked up it is and just how different it is from the first one. I'll let you, since this is higher on your list, I won't go on anymore. Again, the game doesn't do anything crazy with the gameplay. It's very much, your Naughty Dog game experience that you're used to. But there are some terrifying moments with the zombies, the infected. But there's more so terrifying moments with the humans in this game.
Amen, brother.
And, I'll leave it at that.
Amen.
So, Last of Us Part 2, number 13.
You just hit the fucking cock on the balls right there, my man.
Yeah.
All right. My number 12, Brett. A game that you already mentioned today, and that is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay, not too far off.
Not too far off. Pretty close, actually.
Yeah.
Story time again.
Here we go.
This is you can string me up by my bootstraps. I don't like. This is the first Zelda game I ever played, and the first Zelda game I ever beat and experienced. Which is one of the things why I love the Switch so much. Is it's a lot of firsts for me. First Mario game, first Zelda game, and goddamn, they're fucking incredible games. This game checks off. If I had to make a list, right, of things that make Josh cock hard in video games, this game checks about every single one, except for maybe horror. And even then, there's some weird parts in this game, but I wouldn't classify them as horror. But I echo everything that you said. The level of exploration, right? The easy to pick up, difficult to master, RPG almost like design. Well, RPG design of it. This is essentially a Western RPG.
I was just gonna say it's very much a Western, not a Japanese.
It's a Western RPG. The way that the story is told, the way that the world is presented to you, and how it's designed and opens up to you based off of the abilities that you focus on. The puzzle solving is some of the most incredible in any video game I've ever played. Like you said, you can go about them any way you want to, and the level of discovery, even within those, is insane. And I feel like every time I played this game, it was like a breath of fresh air, and I was so happy playing it.
Was it like a breath of the wild?
Don't even do it. I knew you're... no pun intended on that part. But I feel like the large, over-the-top, important story moments in this game were given just as much attention to the detail and care as the small, more intimate discoveries and experiences and moments in the game. From top to bottom, it is a masterclass in open-world game design. It is a beautiful story and has some incredibly fucking slick moments with the beasts, and then of course Ganon. I don't have anything else to say for that other than it is an incredible piece of art and an incredible video game.
I agree. All right, number 12 for me. This might be I haven't heard anything from this franchise on your list yet. So either you have it high up or you forgot about it, or you just don't care for it as much. BioShock.
Wow.
Is that on your list at all?
It is not.
None of them.
No. And
Okay.
I would
That's
say
fair.
I'm ashamed, but I'm not. I'll
Okay.
let you go and then I'll explain.
Okay. Um, the franchise does some great things.
Mhm,
BioShock is, you know, a game that's very unique
mhm,
and a franchise that is very unique. I didn't put BioShock 2 or Infinite on my list at
mhm.
all. Only the first game. So I won't talk too much about the franchise. Um, but just like this, the idea of like the idea of like there being multiple universes and in one universe there's always a what is it? There's always a lighthouse and there's always a girl and there's always a whatever.
Lighthouse, a girl, a boat, a storm, fire.
Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really fucking cool. Okay, that's really cool. But this is before all that. I don't even know if any of that shit was even planned at this point. We're talking about BioShock 1, okay? What a fucking game, man. Like, just how incredible. From the moment it starts, you're in a plane and you're in the water, you're swimming, you find a lighthouse. You get in the lighthouse, and guess what, Josh? You're not going up. You go down. You go down. And you know where you end up? Rapture. One of the coolest sets in any media ever. It's an underwater city, okay? And it's so cool. It has this like 50s art aesthetic to everything because of when it takes place, obviously. Um, but like there's like a masquerade thing where all of the enemies have like the masquerade ball masks on. It's like Art Nouveau a little bit, kinda. Actually, it's very much Art Nouveau, I would say.
Mhm.
A lot of teals, a lot of golds, a lot of reds, right? It's such a beautiful world, and it's also dilapidated. It's falling apart. You're seeing this underwater city that was like this huge risk. All these rich people moved down here, and it didn't work. The society failed, right? Um, all these people are addicted to drugs and going crazy, and the structural integrity of the city is quite literally falling apart. Uh, but then it's also fucking horrifying, Josh, because amongst all of this debris and rubble and water, it's just wetness everywhere, there's big daddies, these things that fucking will fuck you up. Okay. And then there's the little sisters in the mechanic where you could save them or you could harvest them. um and it impacts the story actually quite a bit depending on which direction you choose. um the abilities like the fire, like all the different I forget what they're called. Do you remember what the abilities were called?
Oh, the tonics?
Yes.
Mhm.
All the tonics were so cool and very unique. It was almost like a superhero game in that regard. But you had guns and shit too. Um, it, it's like weird because like Bioshock is almost like a horror game. I wouldn't say it's a horror game, but it has like horror elements in
Mhm.
it. There's so many moments that were really spooky. But there's also the story, Josh. The story has one of the coolest twists. Um, I'll just say this, Josh. That's all I'm going to say about Bioshock 1. So would you kindly please move on to number 11?
Do you want me to explain to you real quick why it's not on my list at all?
If you would like to, yes. Would you kindly please explain to me why it's not on your list?
Um, First of all, if we had more honorable mentions, they all would be,
Hmm.
including two.
I love
I
to.
loved, well, that's where it kind of starts and stops with me. It's like, my God, I'm going to be crucified for this if I say it out loud.
No, say it.
I almost like the story of two more than one. I almost had
That's
a
fair.
better time with two versus one. I know one, in every sense of the word, is a better game. But for me personally, I think I enjoyed two more. Why none of them made my list is because I personally always found the gameplay loop very. Um, I just got tired of it very quickly, more than a lot of other games on my list. And it's not that it's not cool. The tonics are cool. I always felt the gunplay was kind of ass, and I just never.
It wasn't
I
great.
never felt like I enjoyed the gameplay loop more so than anything else that's on my list currently.
That's fair.
So,
I do want to point out that BioShock 2 is very good
mhm,
and it gets a lot of
mhm,
hate and it doesn't deserve it.
yeah.
You play as a Big Daddy,
Right.
and aren't you searching for your daughter or
Yeah.
something? I don't remember
Yeah. And
the
it's
plot.
short. It is shorter,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
still enjoy it. And then Infinite is cool. The social commentary in Infinite is awesome. But yeah, that's why they're not on my list.
that's
Okay.
fair.
My number 11, Brett, that's my last one for this week. Maybe this will surprise you. I don't know. Probably not. And I know I think it's going to be on your list. More recent game. And that is Demon Souls Remastered.
Hmm. Not on my list.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Wow. This game is awesome. I think here's what it stems from and why it's so high on my list. First of all, Blue Point did an incredible job with it. Okay. The loop, the design, the nature of it is so good. I had a great time playing through it with you. I felt like the game, more so than any other Dark Souls game, was open up to, like, no matter what kind of play style or build you pick, you can be successful.
Mm-hmm.
It met me where Bloodborne was the first Soulsborne game I ever played, right? Where I was like basically binky in my mouth. I couldn't wipe my own ass. Demon Souls is the other end of that. It's like, I can fucking take care of myself in a Souls game now. I'm still not as good as a lot of other people, but I can take care of myself and I can experience the world in the way that I know it should be experienced. The exploration of it, learning enemy paths, all of that. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It has some fucking insane moments in it. And just from a design perspective, as far as the layout goes and how things connect and the elements that are introduced in it, I felt like I had to put it higher on my list than Bloodborne. Not the last Souls game that will be on my list, mind you. But I also waited so long to play this and enjoy it and the experience that I think that also plays into it as well. So,
Yeah, that's a good pick. The remastered version that Blue Point did is fantastic. Blue Point never fails; they never miss. Um, it's great. It's a good game. I did play Demon Souls, so I was kind of playing it again.
mm-hmm.
Not completely because I didn't beat it the first time, but I feel like it was a little too easy. I feel like you and I just steamrolled the whole thing.
True.
A couple bosses were a little hard. We had to do maybe 5, 6, 7 times on the fire
Yeah.
guy. But I think the best part about Demon Souls Remastered for me was all the stuff that Blue Point
Mm-hmm.
did. And like all the things that I thought was cool about the game were things that Blue Point did, not so much what From Software did originally with the original one.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I didn't feel like it was worth being on my list. But in no way is it a bad game, and I don't knock you for adding it because everything you said was true.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, number 11,
Yep.
the final one for today.
Yep.
This game's a pioneer. It took the survival horror genre and put it in a new way that was never done before, and we've never looked back, Josh. Every survival horror game nowadays stems from this. That is Resident Evil 4. We've talked about this almost ad nauseum at this point in several videos. Resident Evil 4 is such a great game. A little too actiony. It was kind of like the start of like the action being injected into the survival horror element of Resident Evil. But it's just such a badass game. There's so many things about this game that are memorable. Specifically the chainsaw guy with the paper bag on his, or the sack on his head. The chainsaw brothers or sisters or whatever. The the merchant, the traveling merchant. The what are you buying, stranger? There's just so many things about this game that are memorable. The giant monster in the lake. I don't want to spoil. I'm trying to like
Yeah.
be careful.
All of
Because,
these things, I
Josh,
have no idea what you're talking about.
I know you and I are going to experience this together soon,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I'm kind of like reserving. But there's so many games that have taken inspiration from this game that if it's not on your if you've played it, which you haven't, and it's not on your top list, you're abysmal. The Evil Within franchise would not exist. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but one of the games that topped my list was inspired by this game. Even the Resident Evil remakes wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed those, you have Resident Evil 4 to thank. And yeah, I think, Josh, you're going to get a better understanding of why this game is slick in the coming weeks when we play through it together.
And hopefully it ends up on my list, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah. All right, that's it.
Okay.
So,
Well, that is the fourth installment of our top 50 games of all time. That was 20 to 11. Next week, folks, our top 10. Big,
right.
big week. So if you like this segment and this video, please share it, with your friends, spread it around, drop into the comments below. Let us know what your favorite games of all times are, if any of them made our lists. And then, we're ramping up here with our top 10 and then ultimately Haptic Intel's top 10 of all time. So, yeah.
That's right.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Josh and Bret really need you too. I love them. So do it. It would be a shame if you miss more of their videos. Hit the notification bell too, so you know when there is a new upload.